They used to say... It's a tribute. Now, they used to say that comedy was the new rock and roll, but it's certainly the case that cookery is the new light entertainment. But in the overcrowded world of TV chefs, two stars have emerged, eclipsing all others. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jennifer Paterson and Clarissa Dickson-Wright, the two fat ladies. Good to see you. Hello. Excellent. Good to see you. And you. And Clarissa. You might want to go around the front. I don't know.
Let's sit by you.
Oh, you're sitting by me, yes. Yes. Settle down.
What a very nice footballer.
Yes.
Very unusual.
Yes. Very unusual, yes.
Very unusual.
Well, unusually lovely footballer? They're all lovely, aren't they?
Don't know, they're all horrible, but that man was charming.
He's an Arsenal player. They're all the...
He had very good legs.
He did.
I'm a great connoisseur.
Connoisseur of legs. Well, I'm behind... Everyone's looking at me tonight, but... Will you have to bend down now?
You've got very good legs.
Very fine legs, yes. I'll share them with you later.
And dainty boots.
Yes, thank you. I've been inspecting your legs as well. Now, look...
I've got a dainty ankle.
Have you?
And a dainty wrist.
Right. Or
and
two,
the wrist
probably.
I cover in a tent.
Well, exactly. Now, I had to introduce you as two fat ladies, because that's the title you get, but you didn't consider... did you not consider... Well, I don't call this show One Bald Bastard, do I? But it's an idea. It's an idea. Now,
Have you only got one ball?
Bald! You're lowering the tone, if that's possible. Have you only got one ball? You're mixing me up with Hitler, surely.
Also Goebbels.
Yes, Goebbels.
Goebbels, yeah.
No, he had no balls at all. Himmler, I think you'll find, is similar. Yeah. This is modern stuff, isn't it? No, what I mean is, didn't you ever think of a sort of politically correct title to go for yourself? Non-anorexic ladies, or women who lunch, or something like that?
Women who lunch like mad.
Yes. But have you two both always been interested in food?
Yeah?
Yes. It wasn't just... Because, now, you didn't know each other until the television programme got going. You weren't sort of friends from way back.
No.
You were brought together like the Spice Girls.
Just like the Spice Girls. Jennifer had the Spice Girls as her backing group last year, yes.
Did you?
Yes, I was on Alice... No,
The
not
Angus
Alice.
Station.
Angus Station.
Yeah. Alice Dayton. No, it was before the operation, he was Alice Dayton, yes.
It was New Year's Eve.
Oh, right.
And they couldn't sing Old Lang Syne.
They didn't know the words, so I had... They were my backing. How about that?
Fantastic. I don't know why I must have been doing something completely different on New Year's Eve.
Quite right.
Yes. So for people who haven't seen your programme, and there must be a few left, you ride around on a motorbike with a sidecar.
A lovely motorbike, yeah.
Lovely motorbike.
Triumph 900.
Yeah.
It was the director who saw Jennifer driving off on Pat Llewellyn, who invented us, who saw Jennifer driving off on her own motorbike and said, I had a vision!
So you turn up in somewhere they say you're helping out or something like that.
Yeah,
It's all a bit of fun, isn't it? Because you're not really helping out. You're there to...
What do you mean we're not helping?
Well, I can tell. I've made documentaries, I know.
Extremely helpful.
But once you get into the kitchen, it's very refreshing because you're in there with your hands in the mincemeat and you're throwing it around.
Absolutely. Are you a cook?
Occasionally, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you do the same.
I do, yes. I made your old man's mess the other night, which is a recipe. Which is anchovies and boiled eggs, as far as the way.
That's right. And
I hope you do it better than I did. It was disgusting. Is that the point of the programme, that people are supposed to follow the recipes and
well, as you go along, like aerobics, you mean?
Yeah.
Sort of standing there going... in front of the television. No, yes, it is the point.
Or is it just to sort of inspire you a bit? And
just to inspire you to go and buy the book, really.
Yeah. Well, since you mentioned it, we have to, sort of duty-bound to mention there. Two fat ladies ride again, and it's... there it is. And... And you had one out before, two fat ladies before the ride again, but you probably can't get that anymore.
I've always been fascinated by the things you produce from under here.
Yes.
Usually sort of jack-in-the-boxes and things
yes.
like that.
Yeah, I've got a few things under there tonight, but...
you have a beautiful complexion.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
I never know if you're looking at me as a cook or as an appreciation of... I remind you of a boiled sheep's head you once had.
They're a ravishing little suckling pig.
Blimey,
Very good faith.
Thank you very much. It was bad enough David Seaman flirting with me, but now you're turning me into your own personal suckling pig. I'm not sure.
You could be my grandchild.
Thank you.
Well,
Now, what do you think about... I know what you're going to say. This I've heard you say it on telly. You're a bit against vegetarians, and you're into eating meat, aren't you, in a big way?
Well, I don't mind people being vegetarians and eating vegetables.
Yeah.
But don't be fascistic about it. You
Yes.
know, they all seem to be very bad-tempered about everybody else eating meat.
The other thing is that most vegetarians don't actually eat vegetables. They eat tofu burgers and rather horrible concoctions that are made to look like sausages or hamburgers.
yeah.
So why don't they just eat sausages or hamburgers?
Well, that's a fair point. Now, there's an odd thing. I caught... There's something... Yeah, very good audience. There was an odd thing that caught my eye in your first book, when you say that in the third world countries you get sufficient animal protein from the weevils and rodent droppings in the stored grain.
That's right.
And of course, when you go to one of the supermarkets, it's all pre-washed. So
Well, I hope so. I don't want rodent droppings in my...
But you're not a vegetarian.
No.
You wouldn't know. It doesn't matter.
It was fine for
going
you.
to save your life, you would.
There is always a slight doubt about hygiene on your programmes, because you're all both guddling around on the food, and you sort of, with a twinkle in your eyes, say, well, of course, you wash your hands before you do this, as though you've just thought of it, and of course you better just mention it.
Direction, actually.
When you cook, you do cook something.
I do occasionally, yes.
Everybody who cooks has to wash their hands continually because you're covered in muck if you use your hands.
Sure, yeah.
So you're clean, clean, clean.
But the way it's cut, shown on the television, where you seem to come straight off your 20-year-old triumphs, straight in there into the thing. Oh, and of course I wash my hands. There's still some swarfiga on my thumb there. That's okay. Don't worry about that. That's all good protein in there somewhere.
My dear, I was brought up on water from the Yangtze. Nothing hurts me.
Yes. Well, I was brought up in London on Thames water, so I can cope with that, don't you worry.
But the BBC don't pay you to go and wash your hands on the set.
You'd have to go to Head of Water or something. And
they don't like the nails and the rings either.
But the Institute of Hygiene, when I spoke to them, because there was some muddle, because they thought I'd said my father was president of the Institute of Hygiene when he was president of the College of Surgeons, which is not quite the same thing.
No. They're frightfully unhygienic surgeons.
But when I said, you objected to Jennifer's fingernails, he said, no, I never said I objected to Jennifer's fingernails. After all, if you chip your nail into your food and it's bright red, you can find it and get it out again.
Yes. But shouldn't you take your rings off, though? Isn't there sort of a room
Never take your rings off. That's how you lose them.
Yes. Now, before you were doing TV chef work, you used to cook for lots of places, but you cooked at The Spectator for a while. You write for The Spectator now.
Yeah, right, but I cooked for them first.
Yes.
At their sort of drunken end of the week lunches,
Yes.
which was great fun.
Yeah.
Enormous, but they never went home.
No.
They would stay there till 7.
Yeah.
But with lots of marvellous people. Did you ever come?
No, I've never been to a Spectator lunch, no.
With no use now. They go home at 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I thought you were sacked for some outrageous...
Yes. I was sacked. I was sacked from cooking because... This is an old story, actually.
Yeah. It's getting older.
In the days of they kept leaving my kitchen in a mess.
Yes.
I would arrive there and find mould and tea bags on the work surfaces. Yeah. And I said, this must stop. It didn't. So I threw everything out the window.
Yeah.
Into the garden.
All right.
And it didn't land in our garden. It landed in the garden next door, which belonged to the Worshipful Company of Grave Diggers, or something like that.
Is there a Worshipful Company of Grave Diggers?
I do. They wore chains.
They all wear chains.
Who are the people who bury people?
Well, they are grave diggers, yes, but...
Undertakers.
Undertakers.
Oh, undertakers, yeah.
Undertakers.
They don't wear chains.
Do they wear chains?
Well, I saw them.
They were bits of knives and forks that you'd thrown at them. And what were you doing before? You're a historian of food, because
I'm a food historian.
bits of...
Well, I started life in the same profession as you.
Yes, you're both barristers.
You're a barrister, so...
We shouldn't have shaken hands,
Yeah. No, not now I know how you do your cooking, but but you... So why didn't you stick to barristering?
I took to the drink instead.
Oh, really?
Went off around the world and started cooking.
And you started with a lot of money which you spent in exciting ways.
Yes, with great enjoyment.
Yes, I'm very sorry I didn't know her then. Yeah. She used to charter yachts.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Among other things.
Yeah. Among other things.
Yachts. Men.
Football teams.
Yeah. But the drinking and the yachts and so forth are behind you now. You're a strict
Both the drinking
teetotaler
and
now.
the yachts are behind me.
So do you find it difficult when, because you're two chefs in the kitchen, that's a recipe for disaster.
It was a miracle from God.
Yes. Or John...
From my old age.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got on very well.
But you don't argue about, oh, I want to be making my souffle here.
It's amazing, because if you think about it, I mean, two large, eccentric, fat women. And, you know... I didn't want not to use the word in case I embarrassed you. You know, we could have been taking to one another with railing pins and knives, but we didn't.
But you sing quite a lot on the program. You sort of burst into song at the least.
I like to sing. Do you like to sing?
No, I don't. No.
No?
I'd much rather
Not
cook
at all?
than... Not at all, no.
Not
No,
at all?
my voice is awful.
Were you not a choir boy?
No. No. Not in that sense.
You have
but,
the right
no, has anyone got a question? For, gentleman there in the blue shirt, what's your question?
Who would you most like to cook for?
She'll say Charles II.
Not in this instance. I'll say Henry VIII.
Henry VIII. He burst from food.
Burst.
No,
Burst.
he burst from syphilis.
But what was...
It's a different appetite.
Yes. And more fun to get in some ways. I mean, it's,
Well, one should have both, really. Strike a balance, I would think.
I wouldn't mind, actually, cooking for our beloved Queen. I always feel I'd like to make her food a little more interesting. I have a feeling she doesn't eat interesting food.
No.
I think she adores corned beef and fried potatoes.
Yes.
Which she is very good in its plates.
Yes. Well, she's in India at the moment, not having a particularly happy time, but at least she's been out getting a
It's all right,
chicken
she's
korma
won.
or
I'm
something.
so glad she didn't put the blue socks on for the last barefoot walk.
No.
Looks much better without.
Oh, yes.
The blue socks? What are you on about?
We should put...
Never mind, we'll get on with the interview if we may. Gentleman there, and just there, that's it.
Do you know any good recipes for hair loss?
You have to find female hormones.
Right.
Well, that wouldn't be difficult. Go to one of those supermarkets and buy what they're selling as beef, yes.
Yeah.
So what do you...
I've got a female hormone.
Let's just pursue this point. What do you do with these female hormones when you've got them? You just
That's Jennifer's theory, not mine.
I've got a friend who's got one testicle with cancer.
Hey, it's a happy show. We're
Yeah.
good,
Well, he's very happy.
fine, good,
all is well, all is well.
You only need
But
one.
he is being injected with female thing. And all his hair's come back, but also breath.
All right.
Could you live with the breasts?
That's what Angus discovered, obviously. It is becoming Alice. An enthusiastic gentleman with a rather attractive tie.
Ladies, you said what kind of food you do like. Is there anything you've, let's say, at a dinner party you've tasted that you found so repulsive you either had to not say anything or actually stand up and say something?
Only if it was really badly cooked.
That Italian restaurant. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. As we left, and the food had been so appalling, it was indescribable.
Yeah.
The owner said, he had this great pile of sort of Ferrero Rocher chocolates, and he said, "Have a chocolate, I made them myself." And Jennifer looked at him and said, "In that case, it's bound to be revolting."
Anyway, thank you for joining us, Jennifer Paterson and Clarissa Dickson-Wright. Thank you very much. Got some late news in about Anna